Yes, guys, welcome to a brand new live stream. My name is Conan, and today we're going to be talking about the top 8 science-backed foods that help you burn fat and the ones that I eat every single day that has led me to my third men's physique bodybuilding show. So I'm not sure if you guys can tell by my skin, by my fingers, by my face, probably not. But yeah, there's a spray tan. I'm a bit tanned, but I competed 2 days ago in my third bodybuilding show, and it was an overall great experience. And I have prepped months leading up to this, and the foods that I'm about to share with you in today's live stream are the exact foods that I ate to help me go through prep. So let's get into it. Now, before we do get into it, there is no such thing as an actual like fat burning food. Scientifically, there's no such thing. It's all BS. But there are certain foods that make fat loss a whole lot easier. So these are the 8 foods, the exact 8 foods that I eat every single day. And these are the same ones that helped me get the single digit body fat percentage for my last bodybuilding show. And it's also some the same ones that some of my clients use to drop 30 to 40 to 50 pounds, all without starving themselves or cutting carbs or doing hours of cardio. And the best part is that every single one of these foods is also backed by science. So I'm going to explain to you guys what these foods are, how I integrate them into my diet, and then also I'm going to show some scientific literature to kind of back up some of these scientific claims that they have. So before we do jump into it, I have competed in 3 bodybuilding shows. Did my first one in 2021, my second one in the start of this year, 2025 of January, and then my last one was literally this past weekend, November 8th of 2025 in Sacramento, California. It was a great show. There's actually a bunch of people there. I competed next to Physique, which is like this big famous YouTuber. I used to watch his vlogs back in 2014, which is crazy. And just seeing him in person was actually unreal. And then sharing the stage with him was crazy. And then for some of you scientific hypertrophy nerd guides, I also got to meet Eric Helms from 3DMJ, who is this big kind of like scientific guy in the fitness space, alongside the entire 3DMJ muscle journey and fitness people there as well. So it was great to kind of like see them in person because I listen to their podcast all the time. I get most of my information from them as well. And it's just kind of cool seeing the whole evidence-based approach on the bodybuilding stage, just kind of seeing how science meets bodybuilding, and then just meeting them in person, picking their brain. Alberto Nunez, Eric Helms, like I said, and then there was just one more person who I cannot remember. But anyway, 3 shows I've done, and I just did one this past weekend, like I just said. And as you can tell by the 10, yeah, I was able to maintain single-digit body fat percentage pretty much year-round as well leading up to this, which made the entire prep a whole lot easier. And that is thanks to these foods that I'm about to share with you. And I've also coached hundreds of busy men through the Barbarian method to help them lose fat and build muscle. Now, by the end of this video, my entire goal is for you to understand why these 8 foods make fat loss effortless, not because they magically burn more fat, but because of how they work inside of your body. I'll break down each food, the science behind it, and how I personally eat it every single day, along with how my clients use them to stay lean for life. So let's get into it. I'm done rambling. Let's start with number 1, which is coffee. Now, I know coffee isn't especially particularly a food. It is a drink, but I just put it into my list because this has been one of my greatest friends during this prep. So it is a natural metabolism booster. Every single morning starts with a plain black coffee. No creams, no sugars, just plain black. If you do insist on adding creams and sugars, just make sure you keep track of it. But personally, I just prefer the taste of black coffee, and I would so much rather you guys just drink it black as well because it's 0 calories. You don't have to worry about tracking it because it is 0 calories. No creamers, no sugars, just straight black coffee. It's not just for energy. It's a legitimate fat loss tool when you use it properly. So caffeine increases your thermogenesis, meaning your body literally burns more calories to produce heat. According to Harvard Health, caffeine can raise your metabolic rate by 3 to 11%. And multiple studies show it also boosts fat oxidation, basically teaching your body to use stored fat as fuel. And so as soon as I wake up, I drink 1 liter of water with some electrolytes. I'll do an hour of cardio, right? I'll do that. And then once I come back home is when I'll sip my black coffee while I go straight to work for a couple of hours. So coffee does two amazing things to me. Number one, it blunts my hunger. So my hunger literally just disappears, which is great on a fat loss phase because it just allows you to not eat. And that is arguably one of the most important parts when it comes to losing fat, is just not eating more calories than you consume. And it also increases my focus. So I'm like really just like lasered in. I can work for like multiple hours on end. And if you, at least for me, combining that while being in a fasted state where I have no brain fog, no carbs to like kind of like tie me down or weigh me down, I feel like a superhero. Like I get so much work done. I feel so productive. And it's all thanks to that mini morning routine where I'll wake up, I'll drink a liter of water with my electrolytes, I'll do my cardio, and then have my coffee as well. I believe a couple of years ago, Andrew Huberman got really famous for saying that delaying your caffeine intake by, at the very least, 90 minutes upon waking will just make the caffeine hit a bit harder for whatever scientific reasons. I think those reasons have now been demolished in terms of like, I don't think it matters when you consume your caffeine. I think you could just have it right away first thing in the morning. But I've just kind of got into the habit of not having it as soon as I wake up. I usually wait a couple of hours and then I'll have my coffee. So yeah, like I said, it also gives me steady energy before my first meal. It is also something I have most of my clients drink as well in the morning, first thing, because it keeps them in control and also reduces some of their cravings first thing in the morning, especially if you're used to drinking a sugary coffee or frappuccino or sugary bowl of cereal. If you simply replace that for a black coffee, you'll probably have more energy and then also save a bunch of calories. So let's move on to food number 2, which is chicken breast, the metabolic workers. Chicken breast is boring, but it's boring because it works. It is very lean, one of the leanest sources of protein you could possibly find. It is very high in protein per serving, and it has one of the highest thermic effects of food, meaning your body burns a ton of calories simply just digesting it. And now this doesn't just apply to chicken breast, this applies to all protein sources because protein takes a bit longer for your body to break down and digest within your body compared to carbohydrates and fats, which are the other two macronutrients. And so what you'll notice is that if you increase your protein intake, that you'll stay fuller for longer. And then also it has a nice little benefit of, more importantly, actually building muscle and at the very least maintaining your muscle. Because naturally speaking, when you're in a calorie deficit, when you're eating less calories than you burn, your body is just a lot more prone to muscle loss, and you can actually offset that by keeping your protein intake very, very, or not very, very high, but at the very least higher than normal. So typically we do recommend our clients to eat around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So simply put, if you weigh around 200 pounds, eat roughly 200 grams of protein. Now, I personally enjoy eating chicken breast because I just enjoy it. It's very versatile. I can add it to like some sweeter foods, whether it's I have some cinnamon, some salt with some apples on the side, or I can have it with some more like savory foods, whether it's some broccoli, avocado. And at the end of this video, I kind of like discuss some meals that I typically eat with chicken. But yeah, it's very versatile. You can also eat like eggs, egg whites, tuna, steak, pork chops, meats, beef, all the other foods. Greek yogurt as well are also great options. But like I said, I just really prefer chicken breast. And also, research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that protein increases metabolism by 20 to 30% compared to carbs and fats. And now I assume this isn't just from chicken breast. It's likely going to be the same if you eat steak or turkey breast or any of these other things. And so going back to that example, that means that if you eat 200 calories worth of chicken breast, right, your body burns up to 60 calories just breaking it down. So I eat chicken breast in all 3 of the meals I eat. So I eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, 3 meals. First meal, I'll have it with some avocado, apples, and bananas. That is kind of like my pre-workout meal. That's how I break my fast in the morning or in the afternoon, I guess, after my work block. My second meal, I'll have chicken breast with avocado, broccoli, and then some garlic and sauerkraut on the side just to add some more flavor. And then for my third meal, I'll have some chicken breast with some eggs and berries before bed. Now, as you can tell, it is literally my backbone of my diet and most of my clients' programs as well, because it keeps them full and satisfied and lean. And like I said, it is very versatile. So that'll move me on to food number 3, which is avocados, the hunger hormone regulator. Avocados are one of the best foods for controlling cravings and keeping your energy steady throughout the day. They are absolutely loaded with monounsaturated fats and fiber as well, which have both been proven to balance your hunger hormones and prevent overeating. Now, a nutrition journal study found that adding half an avocado to a meal reduced hunger by 40% for up to 5 hours. And that is because these healthy fats regulates ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone within your body, and then also leptin, which is the fullness hormone. So it basically increases your leptin while also decreasing your ghrelin, which is phenomenal. I used to actually hate eating avocados, but over time it kind of grew on me. Just like I actually used to hate drinking coffee, but it's one of these things where the more of it you eat, the more of it you'll start to crave, which is very, very interesting. Studies have actually found that we tend to crave the foods we eat the most. And so if you just go through a 2, 3, 4 week period where you just kind of like eat more of these healthier foods, your body will automatically start to crave more of these healthier foods, which is phenomenal because now, whenever you're hungry, instead of reverting to junk food, which 70% of Americans do, which is why 75% of Americans are obese, you could be the other 25% and eat healthy foods whenever you're hungry, right? And so that way, by eating healthier foods, you're naturally just going to be putting yourself in a calorie deficit, or it'll be a lot easier to put yourself in a calorie deficit because all these healthier foods are very low in calories and high in volume, and they're just a lot more satiating compared to processed junk food, which just makes you want to eat even more of it. I've made numerous videos on junk food in the past before, and I don't want to go too much into detail with that. But yeah, the more that you can stay away from junk food, the healthier you'll be, the less calories you'll eat, the better overall everything will be, essentially, right? So yeah, like I said, I had an avocado to both of my meals. I eat it for breakfast and for dinner. It adds a ton of flavor, texture, and then like adds like that creaminess as well. And it also gives me steady energy, no blood sugar crashes, no snacking. And some of my clients love it too because it makes diet food actually taste really, really good. Add some salt, some pepper, and you are absolutely good to go. So that'll move me on to point number 4, which actually goes really well with avocados, and those are whole eggs. I'm not talking about the egg whites or the egg yolk. I'm talking about both of them, both the egg whites and the egg yolk, whole eggs, the muscle building breakfast. Eggs are one of the most nutrient dense, muscle supporting foods that you could possibly eat. They've got a ton of protein, healthy fats, choline, and all 9 essential amino acids, meaning it's a complete source of protein. Everything your body possibly needs to burn fat while also building muscle. And now a study in the International Journal of Obesity found that people who ate eggs for breakfast lost 65% more weight than those who ate bagels with the same calories. And that is because eggs increase satiety, regulate insulin, and stabilize blood sugar. So I eat 4 eggs every single day with my chicken and berries for my final meal of the day. It keeps me full throughout the night and also fuels recovery while I sleep. It's also a big staple in many of my clients' diet because it's pretty cheap, pretty affordable. With the chicken breast too, it's pretty versatile. You can bake with them too if you want to, and it helps them stay full while hitting their protein targets without constant snacking. Now, here's more of a controversial take, but I do consider eggs more as like a fat source than I do a protein source. And the reason for that is because if you actually look at the macronutrients on the back of the label, you'll probably see that per egg, it has around 6 grams of protein and 5 grams of fat. And so the ratio between fat and protein, I would say, slightly more in favor towards fat. And so if you're looking for a good quality source of fat, I would definitely look towards eggs. If you're looking for a good quality source of protein, still look for eggs. But if you want to lower the fats a bit, then I will maybe do 2, 3 eggs where you get still some healthy fats, and then add maybe a couple egg whites on top of that too, just so you can boost the protein while minimizing the fat and then also minimizing the calories overall. So let's move on to point number 5, or food number 5, which is berries, the natural insulin stabilizer. So whether it's frozen berries, strawberries, or raspberries, these are my go-to sweet fixes every single night. They're very low in calories, one of the lowest calorie dense fruits that you could possibly eat. They're very sweet, literally taste like candy. It is like nature's candy, in my opinion. They're also very high in fiber, especially raspberries, and they also help improve insulin sensitivity and reduce inflammation. So I eat them every single night with my chicken and eggs. Sometimes I'll add them to like a protein sludge where I'll mix in some water with protein, add the berries on top, and it's like a nice little treat before you end the night. Most of my clients end their day with the exact same way as well, and it helps kill their cravings and helps them stay consistent in the long term. Because if you can simply make this simple swap of swapping actual candy, I mean, not actual, but like artificial candy with like fruits, like actual fruit, you're going to be saving a ton of calories. And then, yeah, it's just, you're also going to have a ton more fiber, a ton more micronutrients, and you're going to be losing a ton of fat as well. Now, when I go to food number 6 here, This one is very underrated, and I don't see any fitness guru, fitness personal trainer talk about these, but those are apples. If you guys watch my Instagram stories, Snapchat stories, you guys see I'm addicted to apples. I love apples. This is the natural appetite suppressant. Apples are one of the simplest, most underrated, and most effective hunger controlling foods out there. They're low in calories, which a lot of people don't even think about. They're also high in fiber and packed with water, which is perfect for fat loss. Now, a Journal of Appetite study found that eating an apple before a meal can also reduce calorie intake by up to 15% because it helps you stay nice and full due to the added fiber and the water content. And that is because also the pectin fiber slows down digestion, stabilizes blood sugar, and keeps you fuller for longer. So I eat a couple apples every single day with my first meal, usually paired with chicken, banana, and avocado. It's a perfect combination of fiber, specifically that meal, fiber, protein, and healthy fats that keeps me full until my next meal. And now let's move on to food number 7, which is bananas. This is the performance carb. So typically speaking, whenever we think of fat loss, we don't really think much about bananas because bananas are, I would say, quite calorically dense when it comes to the fruit category. Honestly, they're one of the highest calorie fruits out there. But in my opinion, I eat them just because they taste amazing. Like I grew up eating bananas and I've always loved eating bananas. Like I grew up playing soccer and like we always like used to eat a bunch of bananas before soccer practice, before soccer games. And I've just grown up to like loving bananas. I'm at a point now where like I love them so, so much. So there are definitely better alternatives out there, but just due to taste, flavor, like for me, like I just like adding them into my diet just due to their taste. So yeah, bananas are my go-to pre-workout carb for sustained energy and also better performance in a gym. And now also a study showed that athletes who fueled with bananas had the same endurance benefits as those who used sports drinks, minus the blood sugar spikes and crashes. So I mean, that sounds a whole lot better than drinking a sugary sports drink, which is commercialized, marketed as like, oh, you got to drink this. But if you just replace that with bananas, which honestly, bananas are so cheap as well. You go to any grocery store, they're like, what, 80 cents per pound? Like they are so cheap. And most of these sports drinks, like they're like a couple dollars per bottle. You're way better off eating bananas. Now, bananas are also loaded with potassium and magnesium, which regulate muscle contraction and then also prevent fatigue, which is awesome as like a pre-workout, pre-run kind of snack. I eat a couple bananas with my first meal right before my workout. It gives me clean, long-lasting energy for my both my workouts and then also for my runs as well. And a lot of my clients who train during the lunch breaks do the same thing. It's quick fuel that actually sustains them, especially if you're on the go all the time. Having a couple of bananas before your workouts can be a very efficient way to get in some carbs to fuel your workouts. So let's move on to the last one here. And these are in no particular order, but the last one is broccoli. Basically, this is the volume hack. So when you're eating in a calorie deficit, the key isn't to eat less food. It is eating more volume of food. That is why I load up on broccoli. Now, broccoli in specific doesn't have to be broccoli. It could be any vegetable, any cruciferous vegetable. It could also be cauliflower. It could also be spinach. It could also be like any other green leafy vegetable. I just like broccoli because it's very high in fiber. It's actually got some protein too. Not a complete source of protein, but it definitely helps you stay nice and full. I know some people are a bit sensitive to broccoli where you eat large amounts of it. You tend to get a bit gassy, so do be careful with that. I live on my own, so it's not really an issue for me. So anyway, broccoli contains a compounds proven to reduce inflammation and improve insulin sensitivity. It's also packed with fiber that stretches your stomach and sends powerful I am full signals to your brain. I eat a massive plate every single night of it with chicken, avocado, garlic, and sauerkraut for lunch. It's loaded with micronutrients, flavor, and fiber, and it's still clocks in under around 600 calories for me. So great high volume meal that I eat every single day. And yeah, that's basically the top 8 foods that I eat. So here's really quick recap of how I structure my day while maintaining a low body fat percentage year round, in particular during this last bodybuilding prep. So once again, I wake up bright and early, drink 1 liter of water with electrolytes, do 1 hour of cardio, and then post cardio, I'll drink a black coffee. Gets me focused, and I work until I'm hungry, which tends to be until around noon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. sometimes if I have a couple sales calls. Then for my first meal, that'll be my pre-workout meal of my chicken breast, avocado, apple, and banana. I'll go train, I'll do my workouts. Then meal number 2 will be lunch, which will be chicken breast, avocado, broccoli, garlic with some sauerkraut, just for flavor and gut health. and they're also relatively cheap additions to any meal, which I highly recommend most people to do. And then I'll work a bit more, I'll walk, I'll do the sauna, I'll recover, and then for my last and final meal will be some more chicken breast, once again, because I love it, it's very versatile. I'll add in some whole eggs for some added protein and healthy fats, and then a ton of berries on the side as well to help satisfy my sweet tooth. So as you guys can tell, it is very simple, very satisfying, and very sustainable, right? These are all very single ingredient foods that everyone has access to at their grocery store. Like no starvation, no nonsense, very, very easy, straightforward. These are the exact foods that keep me shredded, healthy, and performing at my absolute best. So like I said at the start of this video, there are no magic fat burning foods, but when you build your diet around these 8 staples, your metabolism will stay high, your hunger will stay low, and fat loss becomes automatic, at least for me. Again, these are the foods that I enjoy eating. These are the foods that are staples in my diet, but you can very easily swap some of these foods out. If you don't like chicken breast, go for turkey breast. If you don't like whole eggs, go for maybe egg whites and maybe add some nut butter on the side if you want. If you don't like avocados, switch it out for a different fat source like olive oil, right? If you don't like apples, go for different fruits. Like I just picked apples, berries, and bananas because I enjoy those fruits. But honestly, like you can eat any fruits if you want, to be honest. Like there's no rules as long as you hit your calories, you hit your macros, and more importantly, you actually enjoy the foods that you eat. Those are the most important parts because when it comes to fitness, we want to make sure that we stay fit forever. And the way that we stay fit forever is by actually enjoying the process. Because if every single day you're dreading your diet, you're not enjoying the food you eat, it's only going to be a matter of time until you completely fall off track and just stop and go back to your old habits and gain all the fats, gain all the weight, and just kind of stay stuck, right? So if you want a plan built around these same principles that I discussed in this video, what you can go ahead and do is join my free fat loss group where I basically give away free courses, free guides, and also free meal plans. Or what you can do is book your free consultation call with me down below, and we'll essentially go over your current goals, see exactly how much weight you're trying to lose or how much muscle you're trying to build. We'll go over your current struggles, see exactly what's holding you back right now, and then together we'll create a game plan to help you absolutely crush your goals in the next 3 to 6 months. If that sounds good to you, the link will be in the description down below, and I'll see you all soon. Peace.